Well, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Unity of Royal Oak. Today is a special day. We have April. She's going to be our speaker today. We're always excited to have April speak. And right now, we're going to ask you to sing along on this song. And if you're so inclined, you can come up here and sing. And if not, I'll come to you. Just raise your hand.
Wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan. Broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again, come again, come again, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. It does come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again, come again, come again, come. Worshiper, lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair.
She's laughing.
Before, and yet again, come again, come again, come, whoever you are.
I know you play. Can you sing?
Lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are. Despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again, come again, come again, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, and come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. It doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again, come again, come again, come.
Oh, you guys sound good today. And some of you are so brave, and most of you are not. And welcome back, Adarsha. Adarsha's with us today. Happy to see you. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Welcome, everybody. Reverend Rick's not going to be with us today, so I get to do all of the important things that he normally does at the beginning of service, like try to hold a microphone and light the candle. Oh, no. Hey. You know why? Because I'm a woman and we multitask. That's right. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. And do we have anybody here for the first time today? Oh, one tentative hand. Welcome. We are so glad you're here. And thank you, Reverend Kelly, for bringing a friend. Awesome, awesome. Anybody at home, if you're watching us for the very first time, please go to our website, unityofroyaloak.org. There you can find out all the information, and you can sign up for our e-news and let us know who you are. We're so excited to have you all with us today. Let's say our statement of being together. Ready? God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel true? All right, we have a couple of announcements. We have Mother's Day coming up in a few weeks, and we are requesting your participation. We are doing a special presentation that day, and we would like some pictures. Pictures of you and your mom, and or pictures of you and your children if you are a mom. If you're a mom, you can send us both. Send them to me. My email address is kim@unityofroyaloak.org. Or if you just have physical pictures and you want to bring them in, come see me, and I can scan them in or take a picture of them, and then we'll put them in the presentation. The deadline is Friday, May 10th, which is the Friday before Mother's Day. So I'll be putting together the presentation, and after that, it will be too late. Yeah. Yes, yeah, that's a good point. I've been going back and asking people, like, what's your mom's name? But I would love to have that information. We are excited to announce that Martha Creek is coming on the 28th. That's next Sunday. So it's kind of a big Sunday for us. She's going to be here. She's going to do the Sunday talk, and then she's going to stick around and give a workshop at 12:30. So if you haven't had a workshop with Martha Creek before, you need to come because she's an amazing teacher. And April's worked with her quite a bit, and so has Reverend Rick. And you'll really be amazed and enjoy hearing her and all the wisdom that she has to share with us. Also, what is happening next week? Potluck, that's right. We're celebrating Cinco de Mayo 1 week early. It's our 4th Sunday potluck. So bring a dish to pass. There's a sign up in the hallway. And anything Mexican theme you can bring. It'll be good. Empanadas, tostadas, taquitos, margaritas if they're virgin. This is the same lady. She brought the dog. The first day that Rick wasn't here when I was here, she brought her dog. Now she wants to bring margaritas. That's why we get along, Laura. Yes. Yeah, we'll probably have extra people next week because of Martha being here. We usually get a lot of people that come because she's got a lot of fans. So bring food. If you haven't signed up, please sign up today. Also, the Health and Wellness Expo is coming up. This is our very first one. It's on Saturday, May 4th, so that's the week after Martha's here. So we need a couple of things. We need volunteers. We need some people to help set up on Friday night and then to tear down afterwards and then help running the thing. We've got Jill and Susan and CJ are kind of the heads of this thing. They've done amazing work putting the whole thing together, doing a layout, getting all the vendors to come. It's going to be an amazing event, and we really want to show up to support them and to support our church home so that we can get people to come back and have a good experience. Right. So now I'm going to welcome April up to the stage. She's going to continue on telling you about the Health and Wellness Expo.
I don't even know all that's going to be here, but I hear there's going to be a lot of fun. So
I highly encourage you. Bring a friend. I love those kind of events. I'll be coming in the afternoon. I'll be one of the speakers talking about Myrtle's healing, but it'll be just so good. So can't express it enough, but the big thing today was volunteers are needed. So, and I'm told it's only maybe an hour for setup and cleanup, probably no more than that. You just got to be willing, but we need some able bodies to lift some chairs. So take that into consideration. All right, let's take a moment, just a deep breath. Shake off the rush from the day and the desire to socialize. I know I have to shake that off just to focus. Well, let's take a moment to, I'm going to read to you the daily word today, shared with permission of Unity, the publisher. But I want you to really take in this message, not just as what are we told for today, but really take in what it means to you. The word for today is appreciation. I appreciate the good in my life. Really feel that for yourself. Think about the good in your life. I appreciate the good in my life. When someone admires my efforts or thanks me for something helpful I've done, I'm happy to know that I have blessed them. Recognizing how good it feels to be appreciated, I remember to express my gratitude and appreciation to the people who have blessed me. I appreciate my friends and family by nurturing those relationships. I appreciate my community by being a responsible citizen. I appreciate the natural beauty of the world by caring for it and taking time to enjoy it. What a great message for Earth Day coming up. The people, the places, and the things that I appreciate become more precious to me as I discover that each reflects God's presence and God's activity in my uniquely beautiful way. I am grateful to have so much to appreciate. The scripture for today from Romans 12:10 is, love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. And on that note, before we go into prayer, I want to express some appreciation. Friday night, we had our first Friday Fun Night event. We had a murder mystery Mardi Gras themed board game, and we had lots of laughs. I mean, it was just entertaining. I'm not sure it went as it could have, because we could have had a little bit more, advanced notice of our characters, but we had fun. So third Friday of every month, make sure you show up. There will be something different. Sometimes Kim will have music. Next month, we're going to have a movie that is so worth discussion. But the biggest thing is we had community. We made connections. We got to know each other a little better. And we laughed, which is so good for the soul. And yesterday, I had to put on a 2-part oils class. And I just want to thank those who came, who showed up, who were interested not in just learning, but also whether they knew it or not in supporting me. Because the classes I teach each month are helping to fund the cost of ministerial school that I have been accepted into, and that it is just so appreciated. So I want to express my appreciation. What a perfect word for the day. Thank you. So take another breath as we prepare for prayer. And just center your attention on your heart. Today, our prayer partners who are holding sacred space in the service and after service here to pray with you are Bonnie and CJ. Raise your hands. We thank all of our prayer partners here, but they'll be available in the service to pray with you. And of course, when you're not here on Sunday, there's still so many different ways that we can pray with you. You don't have to wait. You can always email us your prayer requests, even if you don't want to talk to somebody directly, at prayer@unityofroyaloak.org. You can call Silent Unity or go on their app. Again, sometimes people just want a quick prayer, not a long conversation. You can call the church. And actually, almost anyone in here will stop and pray with you, whether they're a prayer partner or not. So you never have to do this alone. But now let's take a moment to pray together. Again, bring your attention to your heart space. And let's begin with gratitude. In this moment, we expressed appreciation through the daily word and now through our hearts. For our prayers being heard before we even speak them, even if we never speak them. So we give thanks to Spirit moving in and through and as each and every one of us, assuring us that all of our needs are being met, that our prayers are being heard, and welcoming in Spirit to move in and through and as us so that we may be the answer to prayers and we may recognize that others show up as those answers for us. So I'm going to take a moment to pause, and if you just speak out into out loud or in your heart, any names. You don't even have to give the reason, but any names of anyone you would like to hold in prayer. As we speak their names or even just think them, we know that those prayers are understood and they're being answered right now in this moment. Healing for Anicia, for Pam, for Christopher, for the De Santiago family, for all those searching for employment, in need of healing, for those who may be lonely or struggling with depression, for each person in every corner of the earth who has a prayer on their heart, a worry in their mind, may they find peace and love in this moment. God, we thank you for hearing our hearts, for knowing those needs, even when they're not expressed. We give thanks in this moment for being a part of this community where we know that we don't have to hold those alone. That not only is Spirit always with us, God is always supporting us and hearing us and answering our prayers, but we have this loving community that is here to uplift, to support each other, so that no one ever has to feel alone. In this moment, we affirm that our prayers are heard and are answered, and that we may be open and receptive to acknowledging and recognizing and receiving the answers and the guidance to be the answer. And so it is. Now, take one more deep breath. As we prepare for meditation, I invite you just to release any tension you're holding in your body. Allow your jaw to relax, your eyebrows to settle, your shoulders to fall down. Release any thoughts, any agenda for the day. Let go of everything that you can. And then let go of the rest. As you breathe in, feel the power of love moving up through your body, through your heart, through your mind, filling every cell, every thought, every part of the essence that is you. And as you exhale, release anything that isn't in alignment with the divine love that's expressing through you right now. Just let it go. You can pick it back up later if you need. We affirm that we are the center of love. Feel that love beating in your heart, that love moving through you with every breath that you take, carrying that life to every cell, to every part that is living you right now. The power of love moves through us, like each of the creative powers that are fundamental in our beings that make up who we are. With your next breath, feel the divine nature moving through your heartbeat, through your breath. Just breathing you, just notice. Notice the love that you are. Love is. Today we open our heart and our mind to the spiritual power of love that we are living. We are radiant expressions of divine love, a brilliant stream of infinite possibility. This love beams from us and shimmers in a rainbow of colors as love across all others we come in contact with, through our thoughts, through our words, through our meditations. Each day is an opportunity to express love. Bring to mind now the people who you love on this planet, not just those close to you, but think of the children, think of the dream makers, think of family members and friends, but also think of our spiritual community and those that we hold in prayer that we've never met. And imagine a brilliant, radiant light coming down through the top of your head, through your heart, and shining that love out to every corner of the earth. filling each person with just a spark of love, a spark of hope, so that they may feel the presence within them right where they are, within whatever situation they're in. Look a little further for places and people that we can silently bless with this love. People we may never meet, but we can send that to because we are connected. We are all one. As we use love as a power to focus our prayers and positivity, we look to uplifting examples of kindness around us to be that love in action. Disciple John represents unconditional acceptance and forgiveness. May we be a living example of that power. May we find creative ways to perform acts of kindness, small ones, big ones. May we be unconditional love in action in our lives, in this community and in the world. All that love that you send out to the world, I invite you to bring it all back into your heart. Be willing to receive that love. Feel yourself embraced, wrapped in the arms of love that is God, that is you, that is the Christ presence expressing through you. Allow yourself to be enfolded in that love. Feel it comforting you, warming you, embracing you. As we affirm that we welcome love, joy, success, health, wisdom, abundance, and harmony into our life now, we accept our role as love in the world. And we give thanks. Thanks to the many ways that it shows up for us and as us. As you begin to bring your attention back to this space, I invite you to notice that feeling move through your body and store it in the memory of your heart where you can return to anytime you need to. And when you're ready to open your eyes, look around and notice the love in this room, the love in each other's eyes, love just in the air. Can you feel it? Tremendous power in love.
Memories are made of magic. Doesn't matter how unmemorable they seem. Ordinary moments, like a little laugh you shared, can bring a gleam of light in your bleakest, darkest hour. Memories are more than magic. When you add them up, they paint a picture of all the love you've given and the love you have received. And in that love, there's power, love, power. We can always choose it if we dare. Love, power, and we find it in the memories we share, and we need it like the sun and like the air. So when you need some magic, this is where to go. Find the song inside you that your memories seem to know, and let it grow, let it glow. broomstick in the sky above. We fly on love, love power. Love, love power. Just remember the memories that show us the power of love.
So good. You are awesome. Some may think it's magic, but love is a power that we all have, like this Christ candle, giving us a visual of the light that lives within us. That was a powerful visual and audio of the love that is us, living as us. So exciting. Thank you again. So I have to tell you, I was so excited when I heard that Reverend Rick was doing the 4 agreements and the 5th agreement, which he's combined, because that is one of my favorites. It's one of those books that every time I see it, I buy it, but I never have a copy because I'm always giving it away. And so about a year ago, added it to my Kindle, because you can't give that away. Well, at least I'm not as quick to. Let's think about these 5 agreements and how love shines through them. Be impeccable with your word. Whoa, remember when you were little, the sticks and stones might break my bones? I don't know. Words can take you down. They can leave imprints on you, right? So being impeccable with our words, they can hurt or they can bless. But what if we just spoke with integrity? What if we just said what we really meant, asked for what we really want? Whoa, just that one alone would change the world. And not taking anything personally, that would transform every one of our lives, right? Even though things feel personal, it doesn't always mean it's personal. What a powerful concept. Just to think that maybe it's about somebody else, because the truth is we're all experiencing everything through our own stories. And right now, however many people are in this room, there's that many different experiences happening. And it's not about any one of us, but it affects every one of us. But don't make assumptions. That's the one we're going to talk about today. And that's a powerful one. Anyone here never make an assumption? Or anyone here constantly assuming? That's probably more likely, right? Think about that. You always do the best that you can. I mean, that's fabulous too, and our best is different on every day. When we're sick, it's not our best. When we're stressed, we're not at our best. And, the 5th agreement is probably my favorite. Question everything. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. And always check in. Do you really believe that or not? But making assumptions is one, I think, that we do unconsciously. So if you really think about that, don't make assumptions. That requires ultimate mindfulness, really being present in the moment, because we tend to make assumptions about absolutely everything. And assumptions aren't always bad. Sometimes I tend to be a little bit naive in the world. I mean, I assume the good in everybody. I go looking for the good in everything. And sometimes I'm shocked. That's probably what makes me naive, because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with humans? Because I assume just fabulous, and somebody acts in a way that I'm like, didn't even cross my mind, right? So assumptions aren't always good, and they're not always bad. They're simply a story we make up when we don't know the truth. So don't judge yourself for that. The problem with making assumptions, though, is that we believe them. We believe they're true, and then we act according to that. So if I assume somebody's mad at me, I'm now probably coming across with maybe defensiveness, or I'm avoiding them, or whatever it is, however I react to that. If I assume somebody, maybe they didn't return my call, so now I assume they don't want to talk to me. Now I think they're mad at me. And maybe they were busy, or my call didn't go through, or they're going through something. And now I'm not showing up as the supportive person I'd want to be because I made up a story. Can you relate? If we believe them, that's how we're acting, that's how we're thinking now. Not everything's as it appears. In fact, often it's not at all. I think of the iceberg method, and it's used in business cases, it's used in many different scenarios. You think of an iceberg, and we see less than 10% of that. And what we see in each other is what we choose to show. It's how we're choosing to show up. But what we don't see beneath the surface is people's belief systems, is their faith, is their experience, is their trauma, is their excitement, is whatever else is going on. All their emotions are below the surface. And sometimes when they bubble up, all we see is the reaction to the emotion that we probably have no idea what it's even a reaction to. So you're only seeing this much. How can we possibly know anything? In fact, I think if we're to assume anything, it's assume we don't know anything, right? Because that's often the truth. Think about it. Coughing in this world, we go, oh my gosh, that person's coughing. Coughing doesn't necessarily mean they have COVID. But don't we all go around that person in the grocery store that's not looking you in the eye doesn't mean they disrespect you. In fact, in some cultures, looking someone in the eye is disrespect. Not smiling doesn't mean they're unhappy. If somebody doesn't say good morning to you, it doesn't mean they don't like you. They may be so focused. Being quiet doesn't mean something's wrong. For those of you who know me, I'm not very quiet. And I remember one time, I had a headache and I was focused on something, and my son started to panic. Oh my God, what's wrong? Am I in trouble? Did I do something wrong? I'm like, oh my God, I just have a headache. But he was kind of freaking out because I was quiet. I'm like, I'm not always running my mouth. Come on. But he assumed, right? If they're late, it doesn't mean they don't care about your time. If they're late, it doesn't mean that something went wrong on the freeway. Think about all the conclusions we jump to. The purpose of this third agreement is simply to understand how important it is to state our thoughts, to voice your needs, to ask for what you want. I don't know about you, but I haven't quite yet mastered my psychic abilities. But I do wish others could read my mind. Actually, that's probably not true at all. That's a terrible idea. I'd be in trouble. But if you think about it, we expect that. We want others to know what we need. So the purpose of this is really to ask for more information, to offer that information so that we can clearly communicate. Imagine a world where each person spoke their truth and asked questions when they didn't understand. Have you ever had somebody interpret what they thought you meant, even though it's not what you said at all? I said everything's fine. Oh my gosh, I know not everything's fine. What's going on? And then they go take action that counteracts everything. We all do it. This isn't a judgment. With clear communication, though, every one of your relationships would change. Every one. Think about how you act, feel, think, how you even sleep when you're assuming somebody is upset with you. And we can, go into Byron Katie and say, well, who would you be without that thought? What if you didn't make that assumption? How would you be different? You would show up different. You would communicate different. You'd sleep better. You'd be more productive. Or if you thought they were mad, if you just said, hey, what's up? Something wrong? And give them the opportunity, love them enough to be open and honest with you. The whole world would change. With clear communication, it's also much easier, now hear this, to honor the Christ in ourselves and in others. To honor the truth within ourselves and others. If you spoke your truth and asked for what you wanted and expressed how you truly felt from a place of love, people would see that light in you, even when you may be showing up as a hot mess. If you're just honest, I'm having a hard day today. Or you know what, I'm in a hard space. Anybody have a friend you can call? Now, we know the ones we shouldn't call, the ones that'll be like, and get in the drama with you. But the ones that won't even ask if you're just like, I'm having a rough day, tell me something good. And instead of the ones that want to stir it up, the ones that'll tell you something good, lift you up, and be there. There's this wonderful kids book called The Rabbit Listened. And I feel like this really reflects this. I should have brought that book, actually. But this little kid, his toddler, is using blocks to build this castle. And all of a sudden, something went wrong, and the castle came tumbling down. Blocks everywhere. Can you imagine the feeling, the disappointment? I can almost feel it. And I'm not even a toddler building Legos right now. But just this big castle all over the ground. And he's upset and disappointed and discouraged. And one by one, these animals came and reacted. The bear came and said, let's yell, let's scream it out. And the boy said, I don't want to yell. And he left. Kangaroo came by, the motherly type. Let's clean it off. Come on, let's just get it all together. We can redo it. I don't want to do that. The ostrich came by. Let's put our head in the sand. Let's pretend it didn't happen. Let's not even look. Not ready for that. One by one, different animals came with their reactions. And when that little one didn't want to do what they were suggesting, they left. And then the rabbit came. And the rabbit just scooted up next to him and sat down and listened. Just listened. And when the boy was ready, the rabbit was willing to scream with him, to clean it up, to rebuild. But first, the rabbit just listened. That's the power of clear communication. But just listening doesn't do much if we don't ask questions, if we don't inquire, if we aren't willing to share the truth ourselves. Don Miguel Ruiz, he claims that the human mind is dreaming all the time, he says. It dreams when the brain is asleep. We're familiar with that. But it also dreams when the brain is awake. We are magnificent storytellers. I mean, and when you let it go in a positive way, I mean, it can be fun just to play in your mind. That's the gift of working with the children. They still play in their imagination. Adults shut it down pretty quickly. But we shut down the good part. What I notice in adults is the active part of their imagination tends to imagine what could go wrong. How often do you go out in the world looking for what's going to go wrong? Oh my gosh, I stubbed my toe, it's going to be a terrible day. Those orange cones, I know they put them up just to inconvenience me. There's nobody working on the road. They're doing it just to make it difficult to get to church. Have you noticed in the grocery store line, those are the conversations you hear among strangers? What if you went out in the world assuming, in fact, looking, searching even for the good? I wonder what miracles I'm going to see today. I want to go witness kind people. They're out there too, in case you haven't noticed lately. It's all included, and we find what we go looking for. What if we just let go of the attachments we have? We're creatures of attachment, right? We're so attached to our ideas, our opinions, our perceptions so tightly, and we assume that everybody thinks the same way. Well, that's absolutely not the truth. These principles, the 4 agreements, are really about letting go. We assume that people want the same things we want, that they think the same things we think. And yet, what if we just were okay with people being different? I mean, you can't change it. People are different. So you can choose to suffer by resisting that idea, and we all do it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that person showed up to a wedding dressed like that. Don't they know? I can't believe they're, cooking that food or making that. It's Cinco de Mayo. Don't you know you're supposed to bring Mexican food? I don't know. Bring lasagna. I'll still eat it. I mean, right? But how do we develop these principles? I mean, because all this is great in theory. And the truth is, we're always going to take things personal. We're always going to make assumptions. There's going to be days we don't do our best because our best isn't possible in that moment. There's going to be days that we may slip with our word. We may say, I would love to come. I'll let you know, when in our mind we're thinking, I need an excuse to not go to that. Right? What if you just said, I'd love to hang out sometime, but I'm not interested in that particular event? What if we just practice? Because that's the only way we can conquer these. Practice, 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 practice. When you catch yourself assuming, just pause. We all do it. Oh my goodness. I have sent 3 text messages. They're just avoiding me. Or napping and didn't hear it, maybe? What if you picked up the phone and called? Now, some of us, this is a generational gap too. Some people will never, ever read your email in all of their life. They're not going to do it. And for those of us that are in our emails all day long, we're like, chop, 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 I need an answer by the end of the day. Well, they're not even going to check their email until 3 weeks from now. You could pick up the phone, right? Years ago, can you believe the beginning of COVID was years ago now? Oh, right, thank God, right? And I'm grateful for the blessings that came from it. And happy to release all the bad stuff, right? Well, we were all getting used to Zoom and all the online stuff. And in the beginning, technology wasn't so great at separating when people talked. So everybody was talking over each other. And I remember, not with the kids, because they kind of had it down, but sharing a video on our Friday night Zoom call we used to have. And it was about the talking stick, which is, comes from Native American tradition. And the talking stick, I always thought was, here, Julie, it's your turn, you get the stick. Karen, now it's your turn. And that's true. But what was really beautiful when I learned the depth of the history of this is it wasn't just, Darsha, it's your turn. It was, as I'm holding the stick, I have the ground to speak. And when I'm done speaking, you can ask inquiry questions, not to express your opinion, but to better understand me. And I get the stick until I feel like you understand. You don't have to agree, but it's about understanding. It's about hearing that other person. And when we don't assume all the stories we come up with, we're more open and receptive to understanding. And you may still disagree, but when we clearly communicate, we can understand where someone else is coming from. And from that place, even if we disagree, we may understand. What a beautiful thing it is to go, oh, wow, I see why you're feeling that way. I didn't have that experience, but now that I hear yours, I get it. So I want to read you this quote from the book from Don Miguel Ruiz. It says, are you aware that almost everything you tell yourself is an assumption? Whew. Humans have a powerful imagination, very powerful. And there are so many ideas and stories that we can imagine. We listen to the symbols talking in our head. Oh, they're loud sometimes. I have more than one. We start imagining what other people are doing, what they're thinking, what they're saying about us. We dream up things in our imagination. We vent a whole story that's only true for us, but we still believe it. In fact, it may have nothing to do with the truth at all. He goes on to say that one assumption leads to another assumption. We jump to conclusions. We take our story very personally. See how they go hand in hand? Then we blame other people. And we usually start gossiping and try to justify our assumptions. Well, we just wiped out 3 of those. I mean, like, in one little action, we knock them all out, right? Of course, by gossiping, a distorted message becomes an even more distorted than it was. Making assumptions and then taking them personally is the beginning of hell in this world. It's the beginning of hell in your life and your mind. Almost all of our conflicts are based on this, and it's easy to understand why. Did you hear in that what I heard? All of our experiences, all of these steps, these agreements, every assumption we make, it's all in our mind. It's all about thinking. Think about our principles. Our thinking creates a reality. Has anybody ever had a moment, you go out, you get ready to go to work or wherever you're headed, and you have a low air in your tire. And all of a sudden, your mind has gone from, my tire is low on air, to, oh my goodness, I'm going to drive, it could blow up on the freeway. If it blows up on the freeway, I'm going to get crashed, and then I'm going to lose my car. If I don't have a car, I'm going to lose my job, and if I'm going to lose my house. It's like, or go to the gas station and put air in your tire. Good grief. But we do that with everything. We spiral. Oh my goodness, that person's bringing that new person to this, what that new person they're dating, they're going to bring him to the family event. You know how that's going to go, and then we make up a story. But it's all in our head. If our thinking creates our experience, if we really believe these things we talk about here, then what experience are your assumptions creating for you? Does that tell you, ever assume somebody's going to act the way they've always acted and you don't like it? Well, first, we're assuming everyone should act like us, right? I mean, there's that. But then you react to them that way before they've even arrived. You are ready to defend. You're already prepared to shut them out or put them out. Or maybe you're assuming and anticipating somebody's going to come in as that jolly person they always are. And then they show up sad, and you're like, oh my goodness, people panic when the strong one doesn't smile. I'm amazed if I have a moment where I just really need support. I'm like, okay, who can handle this? Who can actually support me? Because most people are like, what are we supposed to do? You're the one that's supposed to be happy. Sometimes it doesn't happen all the time. I might be human too. So what if we just reached out and asked questions? If you don't, instead of screwing it up because you assume. What if we just ask questions and keep asking for understanding? So, I like to look up scriptures and see how they apply. And I have to share, I like the metaphysics, but this first scripture I want to share with you just made me giggle a little. No metaphysics needed. In Ecclesiastes 10:13 through 15. And just see if you can relate to this in any way, or if you're not ready to own it, see if you can relate it to someone else in your life. It says, fools base their thoughts on foolish assumptions, so their conclusions will be wicked madness. They chatter on and on and on, and no one really knows what's going to happen. No one can predict the future. Fools are so exhausted by a little work that they can't even find their way home. Ever have a moment like that? Where maybe at least in hindsight, you're like, whoa, what was I thinking? When my kids were teenagers, I used to ask that now and then, like, what were you thinking? And then I'm like, oh, they weren't. They may have been assuming or not thinking at all, but we all do it. In Acts 2:7, it says that it tells the story of the day of Pentecost, and the disciples have been baptized by the Holy Spirit for the first time. When the people heard them speaking in different tongues, they assumed they were drunk. Ever have that assumption? See somebody, we had that experience, a couple of us went downtown for an event, this is back several months ago, and there was somebody, driving a little motorbike recklessly on the road. It's like you could assume they were drunk, you could assume they were mentally ill, maybe they were just causing trouble, maybe they were having a mental break, we don't know. But all we did know was that person needed help. And yet, no one felt safe enough because they had all these other assumptions, right? The Lord looks at our heart. Spirit moves through us. What if we took the time to look at people's hearts? What if we allowed that Christ presence within us to connect us, even when we may automatically assume something is going a different way? What if we just asked? What if we just checked in? In Samuel 1, it says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." We cannot know people's hearts. We can't prove people's intentions. Somebody can have the greatest intention, but it doesn't play out in a way you understand. We can look at love languages and different, multiple intelligences. Everybody expresses differently. Some people say, "I'm sorry." Some people cook you or make you cookies. But you may never know or feel like they apologize because you didn't hear the words. Someone might say it, but a different person may not want to hear the words. And they're like, "Well, how are you showing up?" Everybody is different based on their experience. And we can't assume somebody comes from the same place as we did. For me, last week I was in Florida, loving the ocean. And I remember some years ago, I led a meditation. And I invited people to be at peace and imagine being on the ocean. And afterwards, somebody said, "I'm terrified of water." I'm like, oh my gosh, my peaceful meditation was traumatizing somebody there, and I didn't even know. We can't assume that our happy places are other people's happy places, that we have the same belief as others. So when we make assumptions, it's just all about our thinking. And asking what if can lead to all kinds of drama. Well, what if this goes this way? What if this happens? And even if you say, what if something great, it's still an assumption. Let's ask, let's talk, let's communicate, let's give ourselves permission to connect from the heart. If we don't make assumptions, we can focus our attention on the truth, not on what we think is the truth. And then we can see things for the way they truly are. We can remember the truth of each other. And then we can allow and be willing to receive that truth reflected back to us. When we don't believe our own assumptions, the power of our belief then is invested in the truth, which then returns to us. It's a constant cycle. And when we recover all that energy it's exhausting, isn't it, to assume that all that energy we have waste on the storytelling and the spinning of our wheels, we can then use that energy to create a new dream. Rather than the hell we live in and the suffering we go through when we're assuming other things about others, we can return to the experience of that power of love. It's up to you. Consider maybe just asking, maybe talking, maybe inquiring, instead of thinking your story is always the right one. That's how we build bridges. That's how we heal. That's how we connect. That's how we remember each other and the fact that we are all one, and that love is present in every situation, within every heart, even when we can't see it, even when it looks different than what we understand. So I challenge you this week just to notice where you're making assumptions. Just notice, just check it out, just be aware. And then check in, ask questions, inquire, and shift. Pivot your attention. I think you might find that there's magic and wonder in the truth, even more than in the stories we make up. Thank you.
Later this week, Julie's going to go into the studio and record this next song. This is one of my recent compositions, and I co-wrote this with Marco Cirillo, and she sings it better than me, so she's going to sing the definitive version. This is called Be the One.
Be the love you longed for when there was no love to be found. Be the comfort you needed when everything around you seemed so wrong. Act from your heart, not from your pain. Be the one to break the chain. Let the church say it again. Amen. Be the friend you wanted when you didn't have a friend on earth. Be the hand you reach for when you were rising from the dirt. Act from your heart, not from your pain. Be the one to break the chain. Let the church say it again. Amen. Be the light you reach for in your darkest hour of need. Be the help you cried out for that you never did receive. Act from your heart, not from your pain. Be the one to break the chain. Let the church say it again. Amen. Let the church say it again. Amen.
You are both amazing. Wow, what talent. We are so blessed to have this entire team. So as we get ready to do our offering, I wanted to offer a little something first to the rebels in the room. Or at least the rebel in your mind. Anybody's inner teenager alive and well, still wanting to counteract everything you say? Yep. I want to give you 4 things to assume. Why not have a little bit of an opposite for a moment? Oh, you can assume that life is always happening for you, not to you. Everything is an opportunity for growth. And know for sure that change is always possible. You are the creator of your life. That's the message we teach every week. And one of us is worthy, every one of us is worthy of abundance and joy. And you can change it if that's not what you're experiencing. And of course, you can assume that life is an infinite game. And the only goal is to keep playing, to keep growing, to keep learning. And again, you can assume that you don't always know. Feel free to ask. So now is our time of giving, our time of offering. I want to invite the ushers to come forward. I think. Right? I don't usually do this part, but I think they're supposed to come up now. I want to remind you, though, as you take your offering in your hand and just hold them, that there are so many different ways to give. First of all, for those online, you can go on unityofroyaloak.org. There's a button to tithe of your treasure. But we give of our time, our talent, and treasure as a way of acknowledging that God is our source. This isn't just about supporting this incredible community, only that too. It's not just about paying the bills, but that too. But this is acknowledging that it's not our job, it's not unemployment, Social Security, retirement, it's not of all these different ways that money comes to us. God is our source that moves through the world in many ways to support our needs. And this is acknowledging that and keeping that flow, that law of circulation going. So as we give, it's returned to us, pressed down, shaken together, running over, multiplied. And we give more than just our money, although that is the way we, support the physical part of this life. We also give our time, our talent, our treasure, our volunteers, our prayer partners, the people who support, the people who just come together and offer a kind smile. That is all a way of giving back and acknowledging that not only God is our source, but God is moving in and through and as us. We are that source here to uplift and support one another. So when that bag comes around, even if you give, online or aren't giving today of your treasure, of monetary funds, add love, add prayer support, hold that space for each other, because that is a part of the way we give. So just know that this is more than just paying a bill. This is acknowledging and thanking God. So join with me as you hold that blessing in your hand. And again, hold that, just the energy of it, even if you aren't holding an actual donation today. And say with me our offering prayer. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and all that we are. We thank you, God, for this opportunity to give back, to add to that blessing, that overflowing love that there is no end of. We know that as we give, it is blessed, it is serving, and it ripples out not only from us to this church, but from this church into the community and into the world. And these blessings that we bless right now are serving the healing, the good, the love that you are. So we bless these tithes, these offerings, and we bless those who are giving it. Know that each and every one of us has that Christ presence shining through us. And that is greater than any darkness that we can ever assume is in charge. And so it is. As we gather these tithes, we bless the gifts, we bless the givers, and we affirm that these gifts will go out and will serve in the highest, most needed way in this world, and that they are done so with love, with healing, and with the power of the Christ presence within each and every one of us. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Now, as we get ready to go out into the world, I think I'm supposed to be up here in front of the camera, right? I like being with the people. hug and bless and touch. I want you to just remember, just to be mindful this week, just to be aware. Just that little bit of awareness will help us to notice the ways we assume, the ways that we are out of alignment with the Christ presence that is our truth. So the more we notice, the more we're willing to step up, the easier it'll get. And the more others will notice it in us. Relationships will grow and blossom, and our path will be more of light and less of the darkness that comes in our own mind, where it's not always clear. I look forward to getting to know you better through this avenue of clear communication and seeing your light shine. So now if you'll join me in the prayer of protection and then in singing this song, and remember Kim wants you up on the stage even when we don't know the words. But first, join me in the prayer for protection. You know I like to get up and move and do some movement, so come on, I don't know how you all sit still. Stand up for a minute. We're going to do the prayer of protection, and then we're going to dance our way through this song. So join me. Oh boy, yes, we can dance. Come on, Julie should never be the only one dancing in this room. I'm just saying. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right, let's sing along. Who's coming on up? I'm going to join you.
When the love light shines all around us, let that feeling grab you deep inside and send you reeling. Where your love can't hide, gonna go stealing through the moonlit nights with your lover. Let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show, and you'll know what I mean. It's the season. Let your love fly like a bird on a wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. That's the reason. There's a reason for the warm, sweet nights, and there's a reason for the candle lights. Must be the season when those love lights shine all around us. So let that wonder take you into space, and you lay under its loving embrace. You feel the thunder as it warms your face. You can't hold back. Let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show, and you'll know what I mean. It's the season. Let your love fly like a bird on a wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. That's the reason. Chorus one more time. Let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show, and you know what I mean. It's the season. Let your love fly like a bird on a wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine,